For someone who's never heard of the hero's journey, how would you explain it to them, and maybe you can use some film references?
Yeah, absolutely. The hero's journey is an approach to storytelling that initially was observed in stories that had been told in the past. The hero's journey, in many ways, initially was meant to be descriptive of stories that had existed, as opposed to prescriptive for how to tell a story. Now, since Joseph Campbell identified the hero's journey, or what he referred to as the monomyth, a term he borrowed from James Joyce, the monomyth is meant to describe this process that Campbell broke up in 1949 in The Hero with 1,000 Faces into 3 different sections. There's what he called the separation or the departure stage. And in this stage, a hero departs and leaves that which they've known before. So many times this happens as a result of a character that loses everything, or life at home becomes unsustainable. In Star Wars, Luke Skywalker comes back home to find his aunt and uncle have been killed, and the moisture farm that he lived on has been burned. There's nothing there for him anymore. In Moby Dick, however, Ishmael tells us that he wanders around the docks and that there was just nothing of interest for him there anymore. And he decides to go out on the open sea. So it can be that a character is pushed out and separated from their normal world, or it could be that that character chooses to go out on their own adventure because life has either become boring or there's just nothing for them there anymore. The second phase of the hero's journey is called the initiation phase. And it's in this phase, after the character has been separated from their normal world, that they go through all sorts of challenges. The initiation phase is what builds character within that protagonist. They go through all sorts of troubles, trials, tribulations that end up creating something within them that did not exist before. In that initial separation phase, the protagonist is usually in desperate need of therapy of some sort. And it is through that initiation phase that they're going to get what they need therapeutically that will allow them in the final phase of the journey, which is called the return, to do what they need to do. What people often get really wrong about the hero's journey in these 3 phases is that that final phase is about taking whatever you discovered, whatever you found, the treasure that's come to light for you, and bringing it back to the community that you initially departed. The hero's journey is not about an individual ego going and becoming a more enlightened or greater version than themselves. The hero's journey is about bringing back the wisdom, the treasure, what Joseph Campbell called the boon, back to the land, the people, the community that need it the most. This is why it's heroic, is we bring back what we found and we share it with others.
Why do you say that the protagonist must feel dissatisfied in order to embark on their journey?
A character needs a certain sense of dissatisfaction to be able to embark on their journey, because otherwise they would never leave home. There's no reason to go on a journey if everything is great where you begin with. In the story of Moana, we see a character who in the very beginning is having a great life, but there's still something that causes her to feel like she's not connected to the community that she lives in. She's feeling like there's still something missing. And she sings a beautiful song about what that missing piece may be, but she knows whatever it is she's looking for lies beyond this village that she lives in. It becomes very important for her character to leave that which they know. One of the reasons why this is in every great story about a heroic journey is it mirrors the human psychological process that we embody as we get older and grow up. If there were no reason to ever leave our parents' home and go and get a job and embark out on life ourselves, well, then many people would, and many people do, to be quite honest, stay and live at home. And it causes this psychological condition called arrested development. It causes people from becoming who they are supposed to be in the world. This is why it has become an archetypal motif that as people get older and reach their late teen years, there often starts to be great conflict between themselves and their parents. It's a natural process that causes them to have a great desire to leave their normal world, that which they've known, and go out on the journey in order to have the struggles and find the treasure that they need, and then bring it back to start their own family. They'll have kids that have that exact same reaction to them, and the process is very mythological as it continues over and over again.
How does the hero's journey mirror the way we as humans solve problems?
The essence of the hero's journey is really a formulation, a metaphor of sorts for how human beings solve problems. The same process that we go through in solving a problem, we find it in these great heroic stories. What initially happens is the awareness that there is a problem is what starts this journey in taking place. So we have to recognize that, wow, something's wrong. This is why the essence of all story is conflict. Because without conflict, we just have scenarios, we just have situations. But once we have conflict, we have a story. I like the way that Blake Snyder used to put it in his book, Save the Cat. He talked about a cat sitting on a blanket is just a scenario. It's just a situation. But a cat sitting on a dog's blanket, now we have a story. We've got conflict, we've got characters. So once that conflict is established, then we can begin to look for solutions. At its very core, storytelling is about setups and payoffs. And that setup really is identifying the problem. Being able to articulate what the conflict looks like. The payoff is how we solve the problem. And artists use just a bit of poetic license to do that in a way that the audience might not fully expect. This is why the hero's journey is a story that keeps being told over and over and over again, because we never tire of seeing the multitude of ways that people solve problems. There's something reassuring about seeing that, where I see a character solve a problem on screen and I say, maybe there's hope for me. Maybe if that character can solve their problem, maybe this issue that I'm facing can be overcome as well.
Does the hero's journey always have to be in order?
Yeah. The hero's journey often does not appear in the same order that Joseph Campbell laid out in his book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. Many times, all the stages and steps of the hero's journey don't appear in a story as well. Here's the way that I like to explain the hero's journey, and even storytelling at large, I think, works the same way. Imagine for 1 second that I brought a large glass vase And inside that glass vase, we poured every element of storytelling. Everything there was to know about characters and worlds and plot and everything you could ever imagine about story. Every stage of the hero's journey, every nuance to every stage of the hero's journey. And we put it all inside this glass vase. And we dropped it on the ground. And it shattered into a million pieces. Every artist and storyteller, it becomes their responsibility to pick up those shards and create their own mosaic on the wall from those shards. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to put this shard before this shard. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to use all the shards that are there. But this is where the artistic nature of storytelling becomes so beautiful, in that you are going to pick up shards that I might not pick up. You're going to arrange those shards in a completely different order than I do. This is why the hero's journey is such a powerful tool, because it can be broken into a million pieces and yet put up into a new creation in a way that feels fresh to us every single time. Storytelling, as well as the hero's journey, is not about formula. It's about form. Here's how we know the difference. A while back, some friends of mine they were giving tango lessons. And so I went and took tango lessons with my friends. And my friends showed me the formula for tango. They showed me, you move this foot here, and then this foot here, and this foot here, and this foot here. And let me tell you, I did not learn how to dance tango at all by learning the formula. But one night, they took me to a milonga late at night. And I sat in that milonga and I watched people begin to move with the music and move inside the music. And I saw the living form of tango come to life. They were using those steps, but not in the way I was trying to use those steps. The hero's journey, storytelling, it's a form. It's a form. It's not a formula. We can learn the steps, we can learn the stages, but really seeing it come to life and be powerful, it's about when that form begins to take over. Every writer knows that form, when suddenly the words just start coming out and we're not even consciously aware of what's happening. We're in the zone, we're flowing, and we're moving within that form of storytelling.